there hasn't been a new asset class since the bond market was created in 1693. Well, now there's a new asset class, and it is the digital asset space. The question is, are you participating? Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Excuse me. Good morning to you. Happy Sunday. A couple of interesting articles I'm going to go over with you today, and they're both from the Daily Huddle. Shout out to the Daily Huddle. Guys, listen, this is your XRP Ripple daily news in 0 to 10 minutes. Let's do this. So, institutional investors pour 498 million 900,000 into Bitcoin and Ethereum as crypto fund executive declares the cat's out of the bag. Guys, you know, we talk about this on our channel all the time. It's very, very important for us to learn to think and act like an institution would think and act. Why do you think there's so much money going into this digital asset space? You got to ask yourself why that is. Think like institution, banks, financial institutions, right? Think and act the same way that they do. That's a lot of money. $498,900,000, right? And eventually, guess where some of that money is going to go? That's right. It's going to go into the greatest digital asset ever created, and that is XRP. Because once they learn ultimately what it's about, it's just a matter of time before percentages of that money flow into the greatest digital asset ever created, XRP. So here's the deal. New numbers from the digital asset management giant, Grayscale, who, by the way, also has an XRP trust as an investment product, show investors are collectively throwing big money into Ethereum for the first time on top of record investment numbers for Bitcoin. So according to Grayscale, Q1 2020 report, institutions are taking a serious interest in ETH, enough to print a record quarterly inflow into the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Okay, Spencer Noon, the head of crypto investments at BTC Capital, says the numbers show Ethereum has reached a turning point with high net worth investors. Right? Interesting thing there. Interesting thing. So, and I think it's just important to note, right? Listen, it's always about the best bang for your buck long term. And we're blessed to be in a position where we can pick up digital assets at these extremely cheap prices. That's just the bottom line. But ultimately, BTC is just not going to give you the best percentage of return long term for your dollar today. That's just the way it is. It's just a fact in the numbers. And so we all know that the top 5, maybe even top 10, short to medium term, short to mid range, right, are going to do well, going to do outstanding. But long term in this game, long term, where are you going to get the best overall long term return on your investment? Right? You're certainly going to do better with ETH than you will do with Bitcoin. And you certainly will do better, in my opinion, with XRP than you will with ETH long term. Doesn't mean that ETH is still not a great buy at this current price. That's why I say on the channel all the time, we can get spoiled in this digital asset space by these, 900%, 1,000%, 10,000%, 30,000% returns on our money. We can get spoiled by that, and we miss the 5Xs and the 10Xs and the 15Xs. Got to be really, really, really careful with that, right? So institutional investors are buying ETH. The cat is officially out of the bag, and this is from the latest Grayscale report. Ethereum Trust saw $110 million in Q1 inflows, 110 million in Q1. This is more than all of its previous inflows combined for the past 2 years, which was 95.8 million. We have to think and act like the institutionals think and act. We have to think and act like the high net worth investors think and act, right? Guess what I'm going to do today? I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 more ETH today. 1 or 2 more. I was just discussing on the stream last night. I got some Bitcoin. It's not a lot. It's only about $300 worth of Bitcoin. Why should I do that? Well, maybe I should just buy some Ethereum with it, right? I'm either going to buy some Ethereum with it or buy more XRP. And I think I'm done with the purchasing of XRP right now. I may get more later, but right now I'm good. So, in the weeks prior to the end of the quarter, inflows into Ethereum actually surpassed that of Bitcoin. Think about that. High net worth, the article said reached a turning point with high net worth investors. High net worth investors are investing more into Ethereum than Bitcoin. Got to think about that, right? In the weeks prior to the end of the quarter, inflows into Ethereum actually surpassed Bitcoin. Why? Because they get it. They get it that the better bang for the buck at current prices is in Ethereum. Again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, the top 5, I don't even know what they are past XRP, are going to win in the short to medium term. They're going to win. But which ones are going to give you the better bang on your buck? Right? So across the entire quarter, investors poured a record $389 million into Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, in addition to the $110 million in the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, for a total of $498 million. Grayscale's digital asset trusts are fully backed by real cryptocurrency across all of its products, which also offer exposure to XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, Stellar Lumen, Zcash, and Horizon. Grayscale reports a record inflow of $503.7 million. The firm says investors are turning to its products despite a low appetite for risk in the shaky global macro environment. And it's very, very important to understand that. Their high net worth investors, their clients, are turning into the digital asset space despite a low appetite for risk in this shaky global macro movement. Very important to note that, guys. Investors are tactically using drawdowns to increase their exposure to the asset class, even in a risk-off environment. Our institutional investor segment also continued to expand, a trend that could gain additional momentum as legacy financial institutions reinforce the investment thesis for the asset class. Additionally, as existing investors allocate to multiple products, the investment community should monitor the expansion of increased demand for diversification within the asset class, and that is the digital asset space, right? And so certainly within that, they kind of get that they want to kind of hedge, they want to hedge their bets a little bit, so they will diversify within that. And I always said, what Warren Buffett says, right, just all you need is 3 great projects, 3 great companies to invest in, and they will do significantly better than having 20 investments in 20 different things or 50 different things. Well, in the digital asset space, that 3, because it's so new, it's an asset class, that 3 is more like 5 to 10. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a new asset class. He's talking about 3 great companies in a stock market that's been established for decades. That's a different thing. This is a new asset class. So 3 is probably more like 5 to 10 or 5 to 8. Tell me that you can come up with 5 to 8 with certainty, with absolute certainty. That's what Warren Buffett does. He invests after doing his homework and doing his due diligence. He invests with absolute certainty. So you tell me, in the digital asset space, with your homework, your due diligence, that you can come up with 5 to 8 with absolute certainty, 5 to 8 projects that are going to be around for decades. I would challenge you that that would be massively hard to do. Massively. 5 to 8, absolute certainty. I can think of 3. Long-term, decades. I can think of 3. Ethereum, XRP, and VeChain. That's for me. I can come up with 3. Because the powers that be, Ethereum is a great project. They got so much money behind it. They will pivot and adjust to get better and compete for the long term. It's the bottom line. They're already pivoting from proof of work to proof of stake. They're already looking at working and figuring out a way to get on the XRP ledger. That's a company with a great project, okay, if you will. Let me put it this way. It's a great project with great technology that's smart enough to pivot and move in better directions, unlike the people from Bitcoin who have put themselves in a predicament that advancing its technology makes them less money, and so they're not about advancing the technology. Ultimately, there it is. So I challenge you to come up with 5 to 8 with absolute certainty they're going to be around for decades. That's what the investment is about. That's what your bet is about. Your bet is about that project and its technology that's going to be around for the long haul. 5 to 8. Challenge you to get there on that. 2 to 3, I got it. Everything else is going to take some time. There's probably projects out there. There's probably, maybe a hollow chain or Hedera hash grab, okay? Maybe a chain link. That's probably, but we probably got to give them 2 or 3 more years as well. We probably got to give them 3 to 5 years in this space first before we can say, yeah, this is something, that's going to get around to and hang around for decades, right? Very, very challenging. So I take the Warren Buffett approach. I apply it to the digital asset space, and I'm still on 3. Even though I believe his 3 in the stock market and the traditional market is in the digital asset space, that would be 5 to 8. So I haven't come up with 5. So just some food for thought, guys. Just some food for thought there. So I thought this to be a great article. And institutional investors, 498,900,000 into the digital asset space. High net worth investors. Got to get it, guys. Again, I want to say this to you, and I hope you believe it in your heart of hearts. You, my friend, are playing a game that 99.99% of the masses don't even know is being played. And by the way, you're winning. Why are you winning? Number 1, because you're an early adopter in this new asset class. And number 2, probably because you're probably an XRP hodler as well. Okay, and so those two things together make you a winner, big time, my friends. All right, guys, listen, I am going to wrap up this video like I do all my videos and remind you of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. That the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.